So what's your name?
My name?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta talk a little louder. I should have brought my hearing aid. Rex Martin,
Where are you from? Where were you born?
Anadarko, Oklahoma,
On what day?
September 22nd, 1936.
Do you remember anything from Oklahoma? Like any childhood memories? Nothing? Like
Left-
do you not remember at all like living there?
No, we left when I was 2 years old or so.
Do you in a car just like packed up everything?
I mean, they didn't have jets in those days. It was just a car. Yeah.
So after you moved straight here to Bakersfield, right?
Right.
So tell me a little bit about your parents.
My parents?
Mm-hmm.
You met my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have too many memories about my dad except him beating up my mom
Really?
and me jumping in and trying to help and getting whacked.
How old were you?
But he left when I was just a little over 10.
Wow. So you just that's all you really remember of him?
You know, when I was out of the Navy and came back home, he pulled me over and driving down the street one day and wanted to be friends, and
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't any friendship in my heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you were just, you knew everything that he did.
Well, I knew
Yeah, and he just wasn't.
enough.
Yeah. So he left when you were 10, and then after that it was just you, your mom, and Larry?
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any, did you and Larry, were you guys friends? Were you?
Yeah, we were, he's 4.5 years younger than I am, so during those growing up years, that's quite a bit, and it's not like it was a year or so different. You got a lot of different things going on. You're brothers, but you don't become friends because you're doing different things.
Mm-hmm. Was he really immature, or were you guys into like different sports?
Well, I
Do you
think we were
remember?
both a little immature. Yeah, he did, he did his thing. He didn't even come into high school till I was leaving high school.
Oh, yeah.
But he did some sports, and I played football, baseball, then in junior college played water polo.
So when you guys moved to Bakersfield, you said that your dad was a used car salesman and your mom lived at home.
Mm-hmm.
When he left, did your mom like start a job?
Mm-hmm.
What did she do?
Well, the first thing she did, we were living in the barracks at Minner Field at the time. They made a housing project out of it after the war. And they needed a postmaster, and so she got the job. She was the Minner Field postmaster.
For the whole time you guys were growing up here?
The whole time we were at the Minner Field, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was a couple of years.
And did you start working or to like help out, or did you do anything like
I
that?
cooked dinner.
Cook dinner?
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys
have? In those
have?
early years, till I got old enough that I could get a job,
Mm-hmm.
which, was started about 15 or 16.
What did you what did you cook for dinner? Do you remember?
Yeah, a lot of canned salmon
Yeah.
and hamburger.
What job did you get when you were like 15?
When I was 15,
Or like when your first job?
well, the first job was doing lawns and, mowing lawns and raking leaves and stuff like that. And then as I got a little older, when I started driving, one of the first jobs I got was being an iceman. You know what an iceman is?
No.
Well, in those days, most people had ice boxes and not refrigerators.
Mm-hmm.
And so the iceman would come around every other day or so. And most of the people, you just go in the back door or whatever, go to the refrigerator. You had wore leather over your shoulder, and you had to deal with a big old chunk of 50-pound or 25-pound ice, and you'd put it in the ice box, and that's what kept
Everything cold.
food cool. Yeah, they weren't.
And you just walked in their house?
Well, not always,
Yeah.
but most people, yeah.
That's crazy.
Some girls, young girls, whatever, they didn't necessarily want guys just walking in, so you'd go to the door. But most families, you'd just walk in the back door and go to the ice box and put the ice in the
That's crazy.
refrigerator and leave.
That's insane. So you played, what sports did you play in high school?
What?
Sports did you play in high school?
Well, I played baseball and football.
And were you, you got in a couple fights in high school?
Fist fights?
Yeah.
I got in a couple.
Do you have any stories you'd wanna share?
No. You don't want to hear those.
Well, Seth said something about some Garces whoop down.
Well, at a Garces dance, 7 guys came in the bathroom and started whacking on me.
Just by
All
yourself?
from Garces. Because I had beat up a Garces guy a week before or something. And they knocked out a tooth.
Oh yeah, which one?
That one.
You don't even notice.
And so anyway, then they all ran. And so Stan's was the big drive-in where everybody hung out. I went over there and got a couple of buddies of mine, Bill Sheldon and Pat Denial, and said, come on, we're going to go find those guys. Got all of them but one, and he pulled a gun.
Oh geez.
Said, okay, not that serious. He was in a car.
Garces kids, man. You never know. And that was when you were in high school.
Anyway, no, I didn't get them all, because after I'd found 3 or 4 of them and whacked on them a little bit, Pat Denial found one of them in the skating rink that's on Kentucky. It's still there. And went in and grabbed him and was pulling him out the front door to get out. Didn't want
Beat him up
to
inside.
do something in there. As soon as I got him outside, Pat was standing there and he whacked him. I said, what do you do that for? He said, Bob, I can't let you have all the fun.
Oh my gosh. So you had like a posse of boys that just would go around Bakersfield?
No, but I had those 2 guys
Those
were
2
buddies of mine, and I knew they could handle it.
That's so funny. Oh man. Do you have any more stories like that you would like to share?
No.
I'm sure you do. Have you ever gotten arrested when you were in high school?
Yeah,
For what?
I got arrested early on because a couple of guys and myself ran out of gas, and so we were siphoning gas out of somebody else's car, and we got caught. And that was the only thing that went on my record, so to speak. It came off when I was turned 18, but it was on there for a while. And one time we were about 17, I think, and when Jerry Brock, he lived over in Westchester in a big house, and he was rich. His folks were rich. Mm-hmm. He was my age. I think we were 17 at the time. And we were playing on the Drillers. We were juniors. Mm-hmm. And both of us were on the Drillers. And we took, his folks were out of town, so he and I and a couple other guys took his folks' car, which was a brand new Pontiac, and we went out Edison Highway to the whorehouses. And we couldn't go in and stay in. We'd go in and they'd come and they'd kick us out. But, so one of them, when we went out, one of the guys grabbed the fire extinguisher off the wall, and we took it. Mm-hmm. If you turned it upside down, it started spewing. And we were driving down Edison Highway and shooting the cars coming the other way. One of them happened to be a highway patrolman.
Oh my gosh!
and that thing is going around in the car. We're all covered, and the car's covered and everything. And anyway, we went to the juvie hall that night, and Jerry's dad, when they came home, we didn't realize this stuff ate the upholstery, and there were 5 of us. We had to pay to have his whole car, top, seats, everything reupholstered. It was $700 and some, and then that was a lot of money then. But it was fun.
Oh man, you seem to have Seth's luck with getting caught. I think that's where you get it from, Seth. So when you got in trouble like this, would your mom do anything?
Well, she'd try. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
You knew my mom, the little gal. There wasn't much she could do but make us feel bad and holler.
Yeah. That's so funny.
And it just she and I and Larry, and she sure didn't want me to not be there to do my part.
Yeah.
But she gave me hell.
For that stuff. Oh man. Did Uncle Larry ever kind of follow in that footsteps, like the mayhem?
Yeah, Uncle Larry had his share of fights. Yeah, I don't think he ever got arrested. I only got arrested that one time.
Yeah.
And then it went off my record. But the Air Force, when I wanted to go in the Air Force after I went to DC, they wouldn't take me because of that record. And so I went to, I had worked at the post office one summer. And the post office was just that one on 18th Street. That was the only post office in Bakersfield at that time. There weren't a bunch of them like. And the postmaster was there, and it was Johnny Lustelo, who had just retired from being the sheriff for about 20 years. And he got that job as being the postmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of my job was I took stuff to him and I got to know him, in other words. So when I finished junior college and wanted to go in to be a pilot, and the Air Force said no. So I went to the Navy, and the Navy said, well, if you get a letter from an upstanding, responsible citizen of Bakersfield, we'll let you in. And then the letter's in that. I bought you a copy of it. I went to Johnny and he said, hell yes, I'll give you a letter. You're a good man. And they let me in.
I heard that you got like one of the highest scores, testing scores, when you tested for the.
Wasn't testing, honey. It was when I finished.
It was when you finished?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, Dad said it was you tested in and you got like a slower plane.
Got a what?
Like a slow plane, and you wanted to do fly a fast plane. Fly a fast plane. Yeah, you wanted to fly a faster plane, and so you were kind of upset about it. And then you were like in a bar or something, and you met one of the head Navy guys, and he was like, "I'll let."
No, what happened is when I finished flight training, I had the highest grades anybody had ever got. And in those days, that was 50-some years ago, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When you started flight training as a NAVCAD, a naval cadet, you chose that you either wanted to go into the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps is a division of the Navy. Not a lot of people know that, but it's, Navy has a hospital corps, they have the Marine Corps. So anyway, I chose that I wanted to go in the Marine Corps. There's nothing different about, you don't wear a different uniform, nothing different other than a file that says you want to be in the Marines. So when I graduated, final graduation, the admiral who was in charge of naval flight training wanted to personally come and give me my wings and my commission because I had the highest grades anybody ever got. So in the meantime, I had finished flight training, and I'm waiting for my Marine orders. And I'd already gone into Corpus Christi, where you went in those days from Beeville, Texas to Corpus to buy your uniforms, and I had all my Marine uniforms and everything. And the admiral called up the skipper of the base and said, I've been delayed a week, but tell Cadet Martin that I will be there in a week, and I want to pin his wings on and I want to give him. So a couple of days later, I get my Marine orders, and they're to fly R4Qs, which is a big mini motor
Slowpoke.
and I had, the tradition was the guy with the highest grades could pick his duty station, an airplane, and I had said I want to fly F-8Us at El Toro, which El Toro was down by LA, just south of LA. And I got orders to fly R4Qs in Cherry Point, North Carolina. No one, the highest grade guy, and no one had ever had grades like I had anyway, but the highest grade guy up till then had always got to pick his duty station and his airplane. I was the first sucker And I got those orders, and I went immediately to the officers club, which we could, even though we didn't have our commission yet, we could go to the officers club because we were days away from getting that commission. And I was crying in my beer, and the guy who was in charge of the Navy at the base came in and said, "I hear you really got screwed." And I said, "Man," I showed him my orders. And he said, "You can change that." I said, "What do you, how can I change it?" He said, "If you go Navy, I'll give you whatever you want." I said, "You're kidding, really? Can you do that?" He said, "Try me." So let's do it. The next day I had orders to Moffett Field to fly F-8s, which is what the plane I wanted. So I had to sell my Marine uniforms to one of the other guys for half price, and then go back into Corpus to buy Navy uniforms. And then 2 days later, the Admiral came and gave me my wings and commission, and away I went.
That's crazy. But that just like happened. And how long were you in the Navy?
I was in 5 years, a little over 5 years.
Do you ever regret not staying in a career in the Navy, or?
Well, in a way I do, yeah, but when I got the Marine orders after I'd worked my ass off, I thought, you know, they can screw you around like this. I think I just went out and I'll go try my luck as a civilian.
Yeah.
It kind of took the fire out of me.
Yeah. I saw Dad was telling us about it last night, about article that was written about you, that somebody had gone real low by houses, and your mom was living in one of the houses, and
No, my girlfriend.
Your girlfriend?
That was in. That was, oh gosh, just south of San Jose, a little town. And it was at night. Anyway, I buzzed her house and popped the burner and went up out of sight and made the newspaper.
Or some like sonic boom or something happened? Or?
Yeah, a lot of something's happened, yeah. They didn't know nobody knew it was me, except whoever I told. In those days, the only place that had radar, San Francisco had landing radar, and LAX had landing radar. You weren't on radar. So it's not like it is now. They all cut you all the time, and
get in trouble.
Couldn't do what I did then, and you know, we flew under the bridges.
Oh my gosh.
Which, yeah, and that's not a big deal. Bridges are 200-300 feet high, you know. San Francisco, Oakland Bridge, and the Golden Gate.
You flew under the.
It was different times.
Yeah.
Then.
So you didn't get caught for any of that?
No.
That is insane. And you told your girlfriend?
Oh, she knew who it was.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't have to tell her. As soon as I got back to base, I got a call. Is that you?
That's so cool. Speaking of girlfriends, did you have any when you were in high school?
Did I have any?
Mm-hmm. Any like true love?
Oh, it's always true love, isn't it?
Yeah. Any like long-term one that you know?
Yeah, well,
stuck out?
I went with Sherry Braden for a long time, and And she worked at DeWars in later years.
Oh, jeez.
You might have known her. And her little sister married George.
Oh. George Dorr.
Hmm. Yeah, I went with her for 2 years in high school.
And then in the Navy, you were dating some other. Who was the girl that you sonic boomed?
And where?
Who was the girl that you flew over?
Oh, that was she was the girl. I knew one of the guys that I had gone through flight training with, and he was really having problems, and I helped him. And his parents owned a restaurant there, and they knew this girl was from there. And when we'd go down there, I met her and got acquainted and took her out, and that's how I knew her.
Yeah.
And from his parents owning a restaurant there, we going down there and met her. It didn't last long.
Yeah. Did you do it?
Because one reason I went overseas right away.
Yeah. Didn't see anybody. How long were you overseas for?
We were gone 7 months. You don't go to a place. You go out on an aircraft carrier that cruises all around it.
So you just at sea?
And you stop in different ports, and you come home.
Were you ever like seasick? Like at the very beginning, did you get like really bad
Was I ever what?
seasick? Like kind of motion sickness?
No. Not on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
But one thing you'll like, when we went into Hong Kong, I had 5 days off. The first night I met this gal. She was an Oriental gal, and she was a stewardess for Cathay Pacific Airlines. And she was off for 4 or 5 days too. So I moved in with her for the time I was there, and I was thinking, boy, I really like this girl. And then when it came time for me to go back to the ship, I had to be there at 5 in the morning, and so I'm leaving her house like 3:30, and she says, how about, give me one of your light, everybody had a lighter with a squadron emblem or the ship emblem. The Zippo lighter,
Yeah.
in those days. And she said, give me something to remember you by. Give me one of your lighters. I said, okay. She walked over to the kitchen and opened the deal, and there was about 120 of them in there.
Collection of.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Kind of took the fire out of my bubble.
Oh my goodness. That is funny. Well, she never was lonely.
No. But she was cute. Real cute.
Did you ever do any like romantic gestures for your girlfriends?
What is a romantic gesture?
Just like take them out to a picnic, write them a love letter.
No.
You never
Took them out to picnics, but I don't remember any love letters.
You never wrote a love letter?
Mm-mm.
No poems? No.
Hmm?
No poems?
No. No poems. They would have been an okie poem if I had written it.
Oh man. That's funny. Well, I'm actually wearing the ring. Didn't you get this for your mom in Japan?
Mm-hmm.
I still have the box that has the Japan stuff. Do you remember the story when you got the ring?
The story?
Yeah. Like,
Oh,
did you just...
I got her 2 or 3 things over there,
Mm-hmm.
It was, compared to buying that stuff in the United States, it was, half price.
Yeah.
So,
So you just got a bunch of cool stuff from...
yeah.
What did you ever do anything cool like when you were in the Navy, but you weren't like working like on the ship or anything like that? Like, what would you guys do for fun?
Well, you know, we didn't do, you know, we go to bars, go to the officers club and have a few beers. And I lived on the base in the bachelor officers quarters. And we didn't have time to do a lot, really.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't any war going on, thank God, but we were busy getting ready in case.
Was there ever a time where you were like scared that there was like something dangerous happening, you know? Like
no. And it was quite the opposite.
Yeah.
You're scared that something isn't gonna happen, you're not gonna get to test all your skills.
Yeah. Did you ever?
You were all of those guys were young tigers. They were ready to pounce, and that's what you trained for every day.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking like an adult. You were thinking like a young tiger.
Yeah.
So,
that's why you joined, because you're ready for that stuff.
probably.
Wow. Did you ever get to test your skills, like actually put them to use?
No, actually shoot in anger, no. But we'd shoot at drones and we'd shoot at towed targets and stuff, but never in the real thing.
So, do you want to tell the story about how you got ejected?
How I ejected?
Got ejected from the plane and...
Well, I didn't get ejected. I ejected. I did it myself.
So what happened? Like, what caused your plane to like crash?
Well, someday they may know that. Right now, the airplane is at 1,700 fathoms deep. You know how many 1,700 times 6 feet?
No.
That's how deep the water was where the plane went in.
Oh yeah.
All I know is that it quit.
It just quit?
And so there you don't land. If you remember the picture of the F-8 jet, has a great big air intake right in the front. If you try to land in the ocean, it just explodes into many pieces. It doesn't land in.
Yeah.
So you get out is the only thing you do. And the airplane went in the ocean and disappeared. Nobody knows. Nobody will ever know, probably.
So how did you know, what did you do like right at the second it like stopped working, the plane?
Well, I tried to get it going again.
Yeah.
And I was in the clouds when it happened. I was 17 miles off the coast of Japan. And I was at 8,000 feet. And I knew that the bottoms of the clouds were about 2,000 feet. And in the F-8, standard operating procedure was that if you went through 10,000 feet in a nose down, like straight nose down, they told you to eject, because the chances of you being able to pull it out were about 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
So they said operating procedure was to get out. Well, I knew that the bottoms of the overcast were about 2,000 feet, and I was at 8,000 in the soup when it quit. I'm trying to get it going and trying to get stuff. And all of a sudden I saw the lights of shore go across the canopy. So I knew I had come out of the overcast at 2,000 feet, and I was in a nose down position, and there was no way that I could get out, save the airplane.
Yeah.
So I went out.
So did you like press a button to like?
No, you have a curtain. You have handle down here between your legs that you can pull in case you have so many G's that you can't lift your arms.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled it and went out.
So did you see the plane like go into the ocean?
No, it was dark. I mean, it was,
Oh, it was nighttime?
yeah, it was about 10 o'clock at night.
So you stayed in the ocean on a raft, right?
Yeah, and when you go out, the seat goes with you.
Mm-hmm.
The seat, and we had the old seat that has a 37 millimeter shell, cannon shell, that shoots you out. About 6 or 8 months after I went out, they replaced all those seats with rocket seats that the 37 millimeter shell just hits you in the ass and you go. The rocket seat accelerates out.
Okay.
So you don't get, that's why my neck is screwed up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Didn't show up for 30 years, but
Yeah.
that hit.
Just went
in
up your
the butt.
spine, yeah.
And you're sitting like on this cushion.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting on a nylon container. Half of it is your raft. You know, it's about that deep,
Mm-hmm.
about that wide, and about that high. Half of it is your raft, and the other half is the radio that's supposed to work. Never does. Never did then. And anyway, it's connected to you, to your flight suit. That's one of the, when you get in, you go through a bunch of stuff, and one of the things is you hook that lanyard that's about from here to that wall over there, but it's all coiled in inside. You hook it to your flight suit. So when you go out, it's still connected to you. The chute opens, you're coming down, and that thing is hanging down about 10 feet below you. When you hit the water, you pull it up, you got a little donut that you inflate, like, you know, it fills up, keeps you kind of buoyant. You pull that lanyard over and get the raft out, pull the deal, and it inflates. The raft is about that long and about that wide, and just enough to get in with your knees up. And I jumped in it. It worked, it inflated, and pulled the lanyard over. After I got the raft out of it, and then I pulled it over to get the radio out. And the radio was in two parts, the battery and the deal, and it's connected with a cable. And as soon as I'd try to talk, it would shock me. Even not a big shock, but it'd go bzzz, and it didn't work, which was pretty normal. Anyway, I'm in the raft, and I'm trying to make the radio work, and something hits the side of the raft. And the first thing I thought was a shark. And I leaped out. And it's raining, it's cloudy, it's stormy, the waves are big, the wind's blowing like crazy, and thank God I leaped out downwind. Because as soon as I was halfway in the air, I thought, you dumb shit, what are you getting out of your raft? If it is a shark, why are you jumping in the Anyway, and I put my hands up and the raft blew into my hand and I grabbed, otherwise it would have been gone and I'd have been floating with nothing but a donut for 5 hours. Anyway, I got back in it, and the radio never did work. But you wear a bandolier of 38 ammo and a 38 pistol in a holster. And so I knew there were several guys. We were doing what we call a penetration, where you come in through the bad weather to get to the base.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew there were several guys stacked up behind me to make penetrations every 1,000 feet, for there were like 6 guys. So I knew one of them, when I disappear off the scope, I knew they were going to be telling them, hey, we've got a plane disappeared. So as soon as they broke out, they'd be looking. And as soon as one broke out, I fired all these bullets are tracers. And I fired one and he blinked his lights. So I knew he saw me and he knew that I was not dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they would keep looking.
Jeez.
So anyway, I was thinking that I was firing one like every 5 minutes. Even more like every 30 seconds or so. And I was down to what I thought it's a revolver, 6-shot, 38 pistol. And I was down to what I thought was my last one. This is like about 2.5, 3 hours later. And here comes a helicopter with a big light coming, and I waited till he was about as far away from here across the fairway. And I fired what I thought was the last tracer. And he just zoomed right at me. And he came like this, turned around, headed back. The light on me, everything, turned around and headed back. I thought, wow, what the? Well, it turned out he lost his radar altimeter. As soon as he saw me, he realized that he had lost his radar altimeter, and they cannot hover at night without it because you couldn't see the lights of shore. Mm-hmm. You know, it's 17 miles and wasn't any mountains or anything. So you can't see, and he couldn't hover. He had no way to tell if he was going to fly into the ocean or what, and he had nothing. He just had to turn around and head back. And so then here comes this, like a DC-3, and he's dropping parachute flares, but he's over about half a mile from me. And he's lighting up everything, and the wind's blowing him, and he's getting further away. And then this is like an hour and a half later after that helicopter. Here comes another helicopter. Only he's headed for this guy, which is 2 or 3 miles over there. And I remembered that I had dropped a bullet reloading. It was 2nd of November and it was cold as hell. And my fingers felt like they were that big around, you know. And I start feeling around. You're sitting in this raft's all full of water, but it's holding you up. Mm-hmm. And I found some in there. And I had thought I dropped a good one somewhere. And so I got 4 or 5 in my hand, but I can't tell if they've been feeling
used
and gone in my finger. And after a minute or two, I thought, put them in your mouth, you dummy. So I started putting them in my mouth, and I found the good one, loaded it up, and waited till that DC-3 was turned around looking right at me, and I fired it, and here he came, headed right straight at me, dropping parachute flares. The helicopter right behind him. And they zapped in, dropped the deal. I got in it, and picked me up, and away we went. And they, as soon as they got in, it was an Air Force helicopter, it wasn't Navy, it was Air Force. Same, all, you know, pretty much all the same. But anyway, I had my flight suit, and you wear boots. And they, two guys in there, they took their knives in and cut right down the back, and even cut my boots. And in about 10 seconds had me naked in there, and started rubbing me with those big thick army wool blankets, you know, trying to get me back to not being so cold. And right in was about 25 minutes, and by the time we got in the base, I felt good. Felt great. And they also gave me some brandy.
Wow. Were you scared when you were out there?
Well, I don't know that I was concerned that if they didn't find me, it'd be gonna get damn cold all night, you know. Because the flight surgeon told me, he said, you probably had 90 minutes maybe left if they hadn't got to you.
Wow.
Because of the cold.
Dang. That's crazy. Did you ever, you didn't have anything like that ever happen again?
No.
Did anybody ever, was that like a known thing for like just planes just to stop working?
Well, they're mechanical things, honey. So no, you try not to,
Yeah.
but it does happen.
Yeah.
In fact, 3 weeks after I went out, a commander off the coast of San Diego had the same thing happen, and he stayed in it too long. By the time he ejected, the chute didn't open, and lost it.
So, didn't you get your tattoo in the Navy?
Mm-mm.
When did you get it?
I got my tattoo when I was a junior in high school, and in those days, BHS, Bakersfield, it was Kern County Union High School my first year, and they changed it to Bakersfield High School when I was a sophomore. Anyway, we always played Long Beach. Long Beach came up here one year we went down there. When I was a junior, it was the year we were going down there, and everybody would go to the Pike, which was like a big carnival at the beach. And all the guys that were on the football team would get a tattoo, or they were outcasts. So I had my name, which most guys did, had their name put on their arm up here where nobody could see it. Except for Fred Perry, he had a really cool tattoo, which I wish I had got. He had a pair of lips tattooed on his ass.
Oh my goodness! See that one, yeah. That one would have definitely been better. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So, you're out of the Navy now, and what job did you like get when you were like right out after the Navy?
When we got out of the Navy, I went back over and started school. I got out of the Navy on September 20th and started school at Cal Poly on the 24th. It was 4 days before the semester started, or the quarter. And so one day after I was there 2 or 3 weeks, I went out to the airport see, you know, I'm a pilot.
Mhm.
And I got talking to the guy. There was only one guy then that ran the airport, and it was a little, you know.
Mhm.
And he found out I was a pilot, and he said, "You gotta come help me." He said, I got all kinds of charters and stuff, and he flew for Madonna. Madonna had a nice airplane there. And he said, between Madonna and the other stuff, he said, I can't handle it. He said, well, I'll pay you well, come and help me. So I did. I started flying charters for him, still going to school.
Mhm.
And one of the guys that I flew a lot was the biggest builder and real estate developer over there.
Mhm.
His name was Morgan Flagg, and his dad was the biggest builder and developer in Reno. We went to Reno a lot and went to the Bay Area. In fact, I was at the Bay Area when waiting at the airport for him to get back, and Kennedy got shot. You know, you always remember where you were when something crazy like that happens. Anyway, so Flagg was the guy's name, Morgan Flagg, and he kept after me. He said, if you quit school, I'll buy an airplane and you can fly for me, and I'll teach you about real estate and stuff. No, I'm going to finish school. Well, finally he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. He offered me $750 a month, which in 1962 was quite a salary. So I said, okay. So I quit. You know, the apartment that we had rented and that I was living in there was a real nice 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story, right on Avila Creek. It was $120 a month was the rent. So $750 was a pretty good salary. Anyway, I went to work and he bought an airplane. We flew all over, took him all down through Mexico in it. Had a lot of fun. And then when the market slowed down about 2 or 3 years later, he was going to go up where his dad was in Reno and start building up there. And wanted me to go, and I said, no, I'm going to go back to Bakersfield. So I should have gone, but I didn't.
Why did you want to come back to Bakersfield?
I don't know, because it was home.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So when did you meet Grandma Beverly?
When I came back to Bakersfield,
When did you how did you meet her?
well, I moved in an apartment right over off of Real Road.
Mhm.
And there was, I think there's either 6 or 8 apartments. And there's a courtyard in the middle, and a row of 3 or 4 like this, and a row of 3 or 4 like this. I moved into this end one, and she lived in this end one. And, you know, her front door was as far away from here to that door. We got acquainted.
Got married?
Got married.
How long was it until you got married to Grandma?
About a year.
Yeah. And then, so how was that? Dad and Aunt Lisa.
How was what, huh?
Having Dad and Aunt Lisa.
Oh, it was great. You know, I should have stayed married, you know. But
Yeah.
I was too dumb and drinking, and
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I regret, my biggest regret in my whole life is that.
You didn't stay with Grandma?
Mm-hmm.
When did you guys divorce? Like how long was it?
I don't know. I don't even want to remember.
Yeah. Do you have any like funny memories of like Dad when he was a kid, or like Aunt Lisa?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like where would you take them? In Bakersfield, right? Would you guys?
Yeah. And Jason was about, your dad was about, I don't know, I think he was maybe 6 the first time we went to Wyoming.
Together to hunt?
Hmm?
Was it to hunt?
No, when I took him, it was in the summer. And that, I don't know if you've seen that picture of Kelly and he on the horse and
Mm-hmm.
Irma. That was,
Would you ever? Did you ever have instances where like Dad would get in trouble and you'd kind of like beat on him?
no, I don't think I might have whacked him. I never beat on him. Yeah, he got in trouble plenty. He was a boy.
What about Aunt Lisa?
Yeah, Lisa, not so much. She didn't, she got in trouble a time or two, but not.
Yeah. Um. Where did you have? Where was your wedding with Grandma Beverly?
In the, I forget that big church that's on 17th Street and 8th Street.
And did you guys go on a honeymoon?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Went over to the beach.
St. Louis.
St. Louis?
Hmm?
In St. Louis?
No, I went like Avila or.
Let's see here. What is your fondest memory of Dad when he was a kid?
Fondest memory. That's tough because, most every memory is fond.
Yeah. You don't have anything that kind of sticks out that you could share?
No, we should have done this 5 years ago when I still had a memory. They were all pretty fond,
Yeah. Just like, did you guys ever go anywhere like out of Bakersfield? Like out of maybe California?
To where?
Like out of California or anything? Did you ever like take road trips?
Yeah. We went to Wyoming a couple, 3 times. We went to.
Oh yeah.
We went over to Lake Mojave on the Colorado River several times. Not a lot though. I was working trying to make some money.
Yeah.
And when we started hunting in Wyoming, I probably went, in those years, I missed at least half of them because I had to work.
Yeah.
And that, those were kind of the highlight of, they were really fun.
Yeah.
I hated to miss them. And then later, you know, a lot of times Jason, when he got old enough to go, he'd go with Rod, and those hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, not because he went with Rod, that didn't have anything to do with it. It was
Yeah.
just
That you couldn't go.
that I had to work.
Yeah. What was your do you have any funny memories of you and Uncle Rod?
Well, I don't know. They were all fun.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to, you know, pick out any particular one because it was almost always good times.
Dad would tell us about stories of when you guys were all hunting and like going through woods and stuff and not know, like at nighttime and in like Wyoming, like where there was like thick brush and like you didn't know if like a bear was there. Do you have any like stories like that?
Not, yeah, probably I would have at one time until I lost my memory, but
Yeah.
no, we had a lot of fun in Wyoming. There he is. Hey, Seth. Fill it up, will you?
Did Uncle Rod and Aunt Barbara get married before you and Aunt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were married. They were probably married 4 or 5 years before. Maybe more, I forgot.
Did you have to wear this outfit? Like,
No, that was dress suit. That was, you wore a flight suit, which is just,
yeah.
you know. And when you went on Liberty, when you left the base to go into town or do whatever, you wore civilian clothes. And the reason that you wore civilian clothes is because the Navy didn't want the average American to know that you were such a dumb shit. And you got drunk and rowdy.
True. Very true. I can see that. That's funny. Do you remember the training? Like, was it intense when you first got in, when you first were in there?
Yeah, damn intense.
Were they like yelling at you every day? Stuff like that?
Well, when I checked in, I drove from here to Pensacola, Florida. I had a 49 Chevy. And when I got there, I went in, you know, you have orders. So I went through the gate into the base, and they told me where to go, and I went over, and it's this big barracks building that's, you know, about as long as from here across the golf course, and 2 stories, and rooms on both sides, and down in where you come up the stairs is where the guys are, and they're senior cadets. They're what you're gonna be in about another 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so I walked in and, hey, Cadet Martin, how the hell are you? Oh, good. Whoa, Jesus. Whoa, man, ain't this great? This is wonderful. And your room's up there, number 42. You just go on up and make yourself at home. okay. So I go up and I'm unpacking my bag, and over the loudspeaker it says, Cadet Martin, report to the quarterdeck. And they'd already told me, this is what we call a quarterdeck.
Yeah.
Cadet Martin, report to the quarterdeck. So I finished stacking a couple of things and slaughter down there, you know, and walk in and, God, what do you mean walking in here? Like, get your ass back. Not 3 times request permission to come in. These are the guys that were just 5 minutes ago being friendly as can be, right? Huh? What do you mean, huh? Get your ass out that door. And I'm thinking now, is this a joke? Or am I going to have to get in a fight? What's going on here? And one of the other guys that had gone in just before me, a brand new guy, he was standing right there. He said, this ain't no joke. You learn the rules.
That's so weird that they were just like,
The only guys that are your friends are the guys that just got there at the same time you did.